I was having but Rico from RicoScores, and as you can see, I am back home with my original setup. So of course, I will be live streaming that game tomorrow. Technically, by the time most of y'all are watching this later on today. But either way, right now we're here to talk about and basically update the Washington Commanders versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers injury report on both sides. Also, we're going to do a small preview. I don't have my full-blown matchup versus matchup weaknesses and strengths preview like I normally do. I just didn't have enough time because I've been busy getting back home to Atlanta and everything like that. But trust me, I have a few interesting stats for you, especially Mike Evans wise specifically. But I'm going to give y'all the update on the fact that Mariota just went to IR. We have a left tackle rotation apparently going into this game against the Buccaneers, and Sam Hartman got signed back, all of that. Also, just to let you know, this video is sponsored by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. And now, before we dive into everything, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned for all of the content. Again, I'm live streaming every regular season game. I will be doing game previews. I just happen to be busy these past few days, but normally I'm gonna do like a whole game preview with our weaknesses and strengths versus their weaknesses and strengths. What's the scenario as to where we can win the game, even if it's an opponent that, you know, may be mostly perceived to be the better team over us by most people. You know, I'm gonna give us basically the path to victory type of thing. Like, if all of these things go right, we can win this game. And I'll also give my score predictions and things like that. So stay tuned for that every week leading up to every game other than this one. Also, I will be live streaming every single game, including this one, all of that. But y'all already know how this goes. Y'all been here for the past few years. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this video, man. Let's get it. Adam. And we're going to go through this chronologically. We're going to go in chronological order of all of the updates that I want to give y'all today. Well, first of all, September 6th, the Washington Commanders released Byron Pringle. And that was pretty big news. That definitely caught me off guard. I'm not going to lie. The Byron Pringle release, just simply because I thought, especially since he made the final 53-man roster, and even though I didn't necessarily assume that he would make the roster, once he did, I was like, okay, I see the vision. This is your starting kick returner. Jamison Crowder is your starting punt returner, and then Byron Pringle along with Olamide Zaccheaus are your two starting kick returners. Well, now that we've cut them, and we're going to discuss like why they cut them very soon as to all of the different roster moves they've made, who they basically brought in and signed from the practice squad and things like that to take his roster spot place. But with him gone now, who exactly is our starting kick returner other than Olamide Zaccheaus? You have two kick returners back there. Maybe it's Jamison Crowder double dutying as far as like your starting punt returner. We already know he's our starting punt returner. That's already a foregone conclusion. Now, even when you look at the depth chart, it's just Olamide Zaccheaus right there with a blank spot in front of him, because it seemed like Byron Pringle, if anything, was your starting kick returner. Olamide was like the second guy that's also back there, but you probably prefer Byron Pringle to do it. But because they like Olamide Zaccheaus as a receiver as well, that's why he made the team, and they kept him over a Byron Pringle. They like Byron Pringle as a kick returner, but not really much as a receiver. So now he's gone, and now starting kick returner wise, again, I'm just assuming that it may be Jamison Crowder back there with Olamide. I guess we'll see there. This is a really interesting situation. Of course, Mike Sanders still, if you wanted him to do it, could be great at it. You see the talent. He just switched the corner 2 years ago, but naturally he was a receiver with a lot of agility, a lot of quickness. He would be the type of guy that could actually excel in that situation if they really wanted him to, but he's just so valuable as a corner, it's not worth it in my personal opinion. Maybe you see a guy like Luke McCaffrey, maybe get some shots at it. Maybe I remember seeing Austin Eckler returning kicks at some point in practice as well. Maybe they let a guy like Jeremy McNichols, because he's not as pivotal to the offense, because Luke McCaffrey, according to the depth chart, is one of your starting three receivers right now. Austin Eckler is, of course, one of your top two running backs, so maybe Jeremy McNichols would make the most sense. You have Jamison Crowder, your starting punt returner, and then Olamide Zaccheaus, and maybe Jeremy McNichols is your starting kick returners, because now with the new kick returner rules, running backs are, more highly coveted when it comes to kick returners now than previously, because at first you just wanted a bunch of speed. That's why receivers made a lot of sense, but now you probably prefer a running back, because with the way that the kick returns are set up now with these new rules that they put in place for the 2024 season, you kind of want a guy with some vision. You want a guy that can find that one hole that's open so that you can exploit that and potentially get a big play, a big return, maybe even a kick return for a touchdown type of situation. So we'll see. I can't wait to see in game who our starting kick returner is, because that's pretty important, man. Now moving on, later on in the day after we released Byron Pringle, they came out with the official injury report, as you can see on the screen right now. We can start with the Buccaneers real quick. Defensive lineman Logan Hall is the only guy that's officially out. Well, also defensive lineman Ernest Brown went to IR. And those are two pretty big updates, especially with us, having some concerns on the offensive line with Brandon Coleman, who will play, as you can see on the screen right now. He should be good to go, practicing full all week, but at the same time, never got to participate in any preseason game, missed a lot of the practices throughout the preseason as well. As a third-round rookie, that's very concerning, but at least the Buccaneers are missing some of their better defensive linemen that can help us in this situation, especially because right now you can argue between outside corner and offensive line, especially offensive line chemistry. Maybe not talent per se, but like chemistry, experience, nuance, all of that type of stuff. Them like learning how to gel amongst each other, the guy to the left of them, the guy to the right of them, and things like that. Those are probably our two biggest concerns right now going into this game, to be completely honest. So the Buccaneers having two defensive linemen out, one to IR in Ernest Brown, one that's just officially out, just period, for the game specifically, and Logan Hall. Those are two pretty big injuries for them. Now, questionable, you also have another defensive lineman in Kalijah Cansey. He's questionable. We'll see if he plays. He didn't participate in practice at all until Friday, and then he was limited. And then you have wide receiver Trey Palmer with a concussion, but he seems like he should be pretty good to go because he's participated in practice in full all week. And then everybody else is good to go. That's it. No other serious injuries, even though Mike Evans is on the injury report and he didn't participate in practice Wednesday nor Thursday, but then was limited in Friday. I'm pretty sure he's good to go. He may be a little banged up, but I don't think a Buccaneers fan is worried about him potentially having a bad game because of the fact that he's banged up. Now going to our side of things, you have Marcus Mariota, who's dealing with a chest pectoral injury. And at first, it was just announced that he was out. That was it. We're going to talk about it later on, but he officially went to IR. Then, second-round rookie defensive tackle Jerzon Johnny Newton, still dealing with a foot injury, limited. Didn't participate in Thursday's practice because they kind of wanted to ramp him down, see how his body reacted. Then he was limited Friday, and now we're waiting for the official update to see if he'll play or not. I doubt it, and it even says on the injury report that he is doubtful. Everybody else is good to go, though. Brandon Coleman, full. Cleveland Farrell, Dante Fowler, Deron Payne, Trent Scott, even though I don't like Trent Scott as a blocker. I mean, you want as many healthy bodies as you can get, no matter who it really is at this point, especially with Brandon Coleman. Again, my main concern is not the talent, it's not the potential. I think he has Pro Bowl left tackle talent to him. But as a third round rookie who already wasn't getting a lot of the starting snaps to begin the offseason, I mean, rookie mini camps, well, not even my fault, voluntary mini camps and the OTAs, my fault. And then mandatory mini camps, I don't think he was a starter yet. I think he became, it wasn't until like training camp just a few weeks ago when he started to even getting starting level reps, like playing with the ones at all, I believe. Then eventually he overtook Cornelius Lucas and Trent Scott for the starting left tackle job. Then he got hurt. We never saw him play in any preseason game. He missed a lot of the practices throughout that time period of the preseason games. And now he's suddenly practicing again. But will that be enough for a third round rookie that has missed pretty much the majority of the offseason, especially starting reps wise? We're talking about starting reps. He maybe got like 2, maximum 3 weeks of those throughout this entire offseason since he's been drafted. And so, again, even like OTAs and mandatory minicamps, he was healthy, he was playing, he was participating in practices and things like that, but he wasn't getting starting level reps. And yet that much, at least, not meaningful snaps necessarily. So we'll see how that goes. We have some updates for that, though. But just looking at this injury report, of course, Marcus Mariota is out, which means Jeff Driscoll will be backing up Jaden Daniels on Sunday. Hopefully, he never has to see the field, but we got to see what this offensive line situation is. Now, moving on, later on, Dan Quinn spoke to the media. He was straight up just asked, will Brandon Coleman start? His answer was, he will play. Of course, that means, like, what does that mean? Like, either he's starting or not. Like, there's no other option. Either he's the starting left tackle or he doesn't play left tackle at all, right? That's what you'd assume. Apparently, Dan Quinn said that they plan on giving reps to both Cornelius Lucas and Brandon Coleman. He said, quote, he's absolutely ready to rip, unquote, when talking about Brandon Coleman. So he's ready to go out there, but they may also give him some time to like actually develop and get basically caught up to the NFL speed, because again, he's missed a lot of practice time. But Dan Quinn, I thought this was internet breaking news for the Washington Commanders fan base, but I didn't really see a lot of people panicking over this. But apparently there will be some sort of a rotation at left tackle. He said, as far as Brandon Coleman and Cornelius Lucas getting reps on Sunday, quote, yes, very realistic, and yeah, we're planning on that. But Brandon's really done a remarkable job coming back, and I would say he was close to being ready for the third preseason game. We just made the decision to basically hold him back. Hey, this is not the space and time to go push it into this spot, knowing we had time to come, but he's absolutely ready to let it rip. So it sounds like we're going to go out there with some sort of a rotation where Brandon Coleman and Cornelius Lucas get snaps, which is insane. That is so weird, because we already saw how flip-flopping Samuel Cosmi between guard and tackle, I mean, if anything, only set him back in his NFL career as far as his development goes and things like that. I know you're trying to protect Brandon Coleman, but it's to me, in my personal opinion, I feel like, is he ready to play or not? Because sending him out there and then bringing him back, I don't think that's necessarily helping anybody, because like I keep saying, offensive line is so chemistry based, man. It's so nuanced, and being able to like basically read the mind and know without the guy next to you what he's thinking or what he's saying, to just know what he's going to do in a moment's notice. I mean, if the defensive line is stunning and you know exactly, or they're sending blitzers from DBs or linebackers, you just know that guy has that guy. I have this guy, with just because of our chemistry. We've worked on this. We've done this so many times over and over again. We know what we're doing here and things like that. And so like like I keep saying, you can sign 5 all-pro offensive linemen in the same free agency offseason from 5 different teams, and you could easily see a scenario where they could go out there week 1 of that upcoming regular season and struggle. Chemistry matters so much for offensive line. It's not just talent based. And so that putting them out there every now and then, but then pulling them, I mean, it's just like they can't even get their blood flowing. They can't get warmed up. They can't get any sort of momentum going. That's first of all. But then even just the guy next to him, with Nick Allegretti starting at left guard, having to deal with Cornelius Lucas and Brandon Coleman both as just starting left tackle in the same game, I could definitely see the Buccaneers defensive line, their head coach, their defensive coordinators, all of those defensive minded guys. Somebody's going to be able to look at that and take advantage of that. We're going to send a bunch of stunts that way. We're going to send a bunch of blitzes that way, so that we could disrupt any chemistry that they even kind of have built up at this point. I feel like that's easily exposable. I'm definitely worried about that going into this game. Definitely something to really watch for throughout this game. Also, just an update from Dan Quinn himself. The Commanders have not ruled out defensive tackle Johnny Newton for Sunday. Dan Quinn said that they will take it into the weekend before deciding. So I guess maybe we'll get an update at some point tomorrow morning. And again, by the time a lot of y'all are watching this morning, because it's 10:30 p.m. right now, Eastern time. By the time this video gets out to y'all, most of y'all will be watching this on Sunday, September 8th, rather than Saturday, September 7th. Now, before we move on to the second half of this video, I gotta put y'all on to something, man. First of all, this show is provided by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino, and if you're looking for a new sportsbook, it should be BetUS for sure. First of all, they have the fastest payouts in the industry. I know y'all want y'all money fast. I know I do. Why not rock with them? And right now, forget the other promotion, BetUS is offering you a 150% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 with the code YouTube150. And also, on top of that, they have the fastest and easiest deposit and withdrawal process out there, man. I'm telling you. So why not rock with BetUS? And while we're here, let's take a look at some bets that we can get into. So if you're looking at, go through the BetUS website, as you can see on your screen right now, and you want to bet that the Commanders will make the playoffs. So right now, those betting odds are plus 250 on the money line right now if you're saying yes. And say if you say yes to that, if you want to say put just a random $100 you just have laying around or whatever, if you're good for it, that $100 could actually turn into $250 if we end up actually making the playoffs. A lot of people are doubting us. A lot of people feel like we can't. So that's why you could put $100 on this and get $250 back. Or even if you just want to throw a quick $10 on it, you'll get $25 back. And I feel like this is a pretty good bet to make. I'm probably going to do this bet myself because you're not losing much and there's so much more to gain just based on the odds right there. And I also do feel like we may have a chance to make these playoffs, man. I feel like if we go up against these Bucks and show that we have some talent to us. Remember, the Buccaneers were in the playoffs last year. If we can show up week 1 against those guys, week 1 is going to be the worst that we're going to be. I mean, injuries aside, week 1 with all of the roster turnover we had, front office, coaching staff, everything, that is the best time to catch us. And if we look good against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, dare say we even beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's up from there. Our stocks rise and this money line will change. We beat the Buccaneers, it's not going to be plus 250 by next week. I'm telling you that right now because we are definitely underdogs going into this game. People do not expect us to win that game, and that will be a game that people are calculating right now. If you're looking at us and saying the Commanders will go to the playoffs or not, right now, if you're doing like schedule predictions, you're not predicting the Washington Commanders to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We beat them. That definitely raises our stock, so you may want to get on this bet early right now. And again, right now, as of right now, BetUS is offering you 150% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 with the code YouTube150. That's YOUTUBE 150. Now let's get back to this Commanders injury update and preview versus the Buccaneers. Well, then later on, as of today, well, as in Saturday, September 7th at 3 p.m., they announced that we placed quarterback Marcus Mariota on the injured reserve list. Now, this was after 53-man roster cuts, so he can return at some point this season. This is not a necessarily season-ending injury situation. They just want to put him on IR so that they can have another roster spot to use on somebody else, because it sounds like he will not be ready necessarily anytime soon, especially not this week, especially. Then we also went and signed Sam Hartman from the practice squad to basically be our third string quarterback behind Jeff Driscoll, who will be your backup quarterback behind Jaden Daniels, but hopefully none of that matters. Hopefully Jaden Daniels is the only quarterback that ever has to throw a single pass for us for the next 10-15 years plus, so hopefully we never get in a situation where we even have to worry about Jeff Driscoll being the backup quarterback or Sam Hartman being the third string quarterback, but those are your quarterbacks going into this game. Also, we elevated linebacker Nick Bellore, who's a Pro Bowl special teamer. That seemed like that was pretty much inevitable. This guy's elite at special teams coverage, so he will be available for us in that game to play. We also brought up defensive tackle Sheldon Day from the practice squad, which does not sound like a good sign for Johnny Newton. It sounds like they potentially maybe brought him up from the practice squad to the active 53-man roster, assuming that Johnny Newton will not play in that game. That's what it sounds like to me, but we'll see. Also, Dan Quinn announced the week 1 captains. He did announce like a few days ago that we will rotate captains. Captains will be announced and possibly even change at a weekly basis. He's going the captains this week may not necessarily be the captains next week, but as of right now, our week 1 captains are Jeremy Reeves, Terry McLaurin, and Cleveland Farrell. That's very interesting. Jeremy Reeves, I can see it as the ultimate special teamer. Terry McLaurin, I can see it as the ultimate offensive weapon, but defensively, over Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, even Bobby Wagner, Cleveland Farrell is very interesting. That caught me off guard. Dorrance Armstrong even. Dan Quinn's experience with Dorrance Armstrong going back with the Cowboys the past couple of years. Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen, especially Jonathan Allen being a captain here for the Commanders the past couple of years. Bobby Wagner being arguably the best leader we have on the entire team. That's pretty interesting. That caught me off guard. I don't think it's anything serious to really dive into, to speculate about, and we get into all types of debates and things like that, but I just thought that that was pretty interesting. Also, as you can see on the screen right now, here's the Fox late game map. Again, we play at 4:25 p.m. That's when our game starts. And just as you can see, I mean, pretty much if you're in the DMV area with quite a bit of Virginia, you'll be able to get the game. And of course, if you're like in the Tampa Bay or Orlando area, you're going to be able to get the game. Nobody else is getting that game. I think everybody else is going to probably be watching. I think it's the Cowboys and Browns playing at that time. So everybody else, including me in Atlanta, on live television, I'll be getting the Cowboys and Browns. But for those of y'all that are in the DMV or the Tampa Bay, Orlando areas, y'all should be good to go. Just a random update. I know it's not that important, but since I saw it on Twitter, shouts out to, I believe that was Rico's Rag who uploaded this on Twitter for us to see. So shouts out to him. I saw it. I was like, why not pass that information information to y'all that watch my videos. Appreciate y'all. I mean, I basically, if anything, as a thank you for watching this video. Now, moving on, before we get up out of here, just wanted to let y'all know this. Got a couple of Mike Evans stats that may scare you. Emmanuel Forbes, Benjamin St-Juste, Mike Sanders still leaving. Buckle up. Michael Davis may even see the field quite a bit. Buckle up, because the longest active streak for 1,000-yard receiving seasons right now is Mike Evans #1 with 10. Bill Stephon Diggs is second place with 6. Then you have Justin Jefferson with 4. Terry McLaurin is tied for 3rd with 4 as well. It's like a 4-way tie for 3rd. It's Mike Evans 1, Stephon Diggs 2 with 6, and then it's Justin Jefferson, Terry McLaurin, Tyreek Hill, and Devontae Adams all tied for 3rd with 4. But I just really want to emphasize the fact that this boy Mike Evans is the definition of Mr. Consistency. No matter the quarterback, just like Terry McLaurin, but probably on a whole nother level. Also, Washington Commanders specifically, man, shouts out to Nikki Javala for showing me this graphic right here, as you can see on the screen right now. Mike Evans, 5 career games versus Washington regular season and playoffs. I forgot that we did have that playoff game with Taylor Heineke a while ago. 26 receptions, 605 receiving yards, 121 receiving yards per game, 4 receiving touchdowns, which is not as many as I'd expect, but everything else is scary. 23.3 yards per reception, 24 first down receptions in 5 games. All of those stats, other than the receiving touchdowns, are very scary. And don't laugh at the receiving touchdowns, but that's the least scary stat that you can see on the screen right now by far. And then lastly, before we go, shouts out to all of the Commanders fans that pulled up to that Tampa Bay rally, because the game is in Tampa Bay. It's not in the DMV area. It's not in Landover, Maryland. It's in Florida. Shouts out to the almost 1,000, I think like 1,000 fans pulled up to that. So shouts out to all of y'all that were at that rally. Shouts out to y'all hyping up the team. Let's get going. I love that. The fact that we were almost 1,000 deep in another team city, a whole 4-hour flight away, I mean, I think Tampa Bay is probably like 8 hours from me. So from y'all, it's probably like 15 hours away. So shouts out to all of y'all, however y'all got there. If y'all already lived there, no matter what, shouts out to all of y'all that attended that rally. That's what's up, man. That's real hope. That's real passion. That's real love for the team. It's just a different feeling with Adam Peters and Dan Quinn and Jaden Daniels leading the way, man. I'm really excited, and let's go get this dub, man. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please stiff arm that like button, stiff arm that subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned for all of the content, man. I really appreciate y'all. Again, I will be live streaming this game versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, all 4 quarters and everything. So make sure y'all pull up for that, of course. Also, definitely make sure you stay tuned weekly for game previews, game reviews after the game. Just like after this Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, I will do an immediate review after the game and everything, and I will be live streaming every game throughout the regular season. I don't even think we play on Thanksgiving this time, so I will be able to live stream really almost every game, except for one game that I'm planning on going to. I will update y'all on that once we officially get those tickets down and everything like that. I do want to go to a game, and I want to give y'all the heads up ahead of time. Outside of that, I should be able to live stream every regular season game, and I'm speaking it into existence, man. We just talked about it earlier with the Bet US sporting line, that better line, man. Commanders going to the playoffs. If we make it to the playoffs, best believe I'm live streaming every playoff game as well. But yeah, man, that's really it. I really appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all stiff arm that like button. Make sure you do not leave without stiff arming that like button, leaving a like, and also let me know in the comment section below how you feel about everything discussed in this video, how you feel about the injury situations that we have. Who do you believe our starting kick returner is? Please let me know that, because I'm down for any idea there. Please let me know and why you think it's going to be that guy as well. Let me know how you feel about Marcus Mariota going to IR, Jeff Driscoll being our backup, and Sam Hartman being our 3rd string quarterback. Let me know how you feel about this rotation we're potentially about to have at tackle. Definitely let me know how you feel about that in the comment section. All of that, I really appreciate y'all, and I'm gonna catch y'all later. Catch y'all at the live stream at 4 p.m. Really appreciate y'all, and I'm out. Oh, also before I go, man, of course this video is also sponsored by Bet US and Sportsbook and Casino. Y'all already know that, and like I tell y'all all of the time, man, if you don't do anything else, please make sure you gamble responsibly, man. Please do that. I really want to emphasize that. Now I'm officially gonna catch y'all later. I'm out.